from the Mercury News. Just what was your reaction to the crowd's chants that were directed to you throughout the game?
No, they're just talking. It's not really my job to react to them. So they did what I expected.
Marcus, back right.
Marcus Thompson, the Athletic. Draymond, how do you feel you played?
Like shit.
What was the difference this game?
I just think I never found a rhythm, really on both ends of the floor. So not enough force, but just got to find the rhythm quicker.
Anthony on the right.
The Athletic. They had 15 offensive rebounds. You guys have protected the glass really well, pretty much all playoffs. What do you think was the issue on the glass?
Yeah, I think that's just a force thing. Then once you get comfortable, you establish that presence, then the ball just kind of finds you. You start to get the bounces and the breaks. So just got to start the game off better.
Jake up front.
Jake Fisher, Bleacher Report. Draymond, I'm not saying it's why you struggled tonight by any means, but I found listening to your podcast recaps the last couple of games pretty interesting. Are you conscious at all of what you're saying about the X's and O's, the game plans, the adjustments could be making their way back to Boston staffers and influencing their decision-making at all?
No. I don't say much different on the podcast than I say to you right here. So, nah. What's the X's and O's that I said on the podcast? You all right?
He actually asked. The only real thing I noticed that really stood out, he talked about how to cover White, Smart, and Horford differently between games 1 and 2. That was really the only.
Oh, yeah, that was just contesting shots. If that's X's and O's, then you reaching for something. It's all good, though. Keep going. Reaching heavy. The only thing, you find that they are taking X's and O's away from your podcast. Well, the only thing you said is White, Smart, and Horford.
I'm not trying to blow it up.
I mean, you went for it, but hey, respect. Appreciate the podcast promo you just gave me, though. The Draymond Green Show. Next time, just mention it that way.
You got it.
All right, bet.
Monty in the middle here.
Draymond, what most disappointed you about the way you guys played tonight, and yourself?
I was soft. That's what was most disappointing to me for us. Monty, how much X's and O's you get from the podcast? Clearly, this guy, hey, I don't know, man. Maybe that's the IQ level over this way. Shit. Respect. Okay. You got something else, Monty? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
Not just you, but what was disappointing about the whole your team played, other than the third quarter?
I thought we let them get to too many of their strengths. We like to play by the term making them play left-handed, and I don't think we did that tonight. So, Jake Fisher, just an FYI, that's like a reference to something, making somebody play left hand. That's not really X's and O's, like literally make them drive left. But we like to make teams play left hand, and we didn't do that tonight, and that starts with me. And when you allow a team to get comfortable, especially in front of their home crowd, then it's tough. And we battled back. We took the lead for a minute, but if it's a game and you go on that run, it's a different story. So. We'll be better. I'll be better. Come out, win game 4. Go back home 2-2.
CJ on the left.
CJ Holmes, San Francisco Chronicle. Dre, you got to play better, right? But heading into game 4, what are some adjustments that that you have to make personally?
I think it's just my approach to the game. I approach the game differently. Everything else falls in play. There's no big X and O adjustment in the NBA Finals. You know what they do. They know what you do. Now who's going to go play with the more force and win the game? They did that tonight. We got to come out and do that on Friday.
Kendra here on the left.
Kendra Andrews, ESPN. I guess maybe it's not about X's and O's, but what went wrong when it came to the rebounding battle and then allowing their points in the paint?
Well, I think when you're putting constant pressure on the rim, then the rebound patterns are messed up. You're rotating, you're coming in. And so goes back to our point of attack defense, and that starts with me. If we control the point of attack, it puts you in a better position over. Start to go your way. So, I think it's not just rebound specific. It's our defense as a whole, and when your defense as a whole is good, then it makes it a lot easier to rebound.
Matt, second row.
Draymond, do you kind of embrace the opposing fans looking at you as the villain in a way that do you feed off of it in a way that it takes some pressure maybe or some of that attention off some of your teammates? Is that something that fuels you and can be something that you use?
Yeah, definitely. I embrace it. I enjoy it. I didn't really feed off of it tonight. I don't think I fed off much tonight. But yeah, that's something that I enjoy. They waste a lot of energy talking to me, so it's great. It's great. Looking forward to Friday.
Last couple of questions. We'll go to Vince.
Vince Goodwill, Yahoo's Voice. Draymond, what worked in the third quarter that you guys couldn't sustain before it and after it? And what was that exchange that you had with Courtney Kirkland after you fouled out where you guys were basically, I don't know if it was a staring contest?
Oh, no, I just asked him, he called a foul for me for diving on the floor. He said I dove on somebody. This man get his legs dove on. I just asked, is that not the same thing? He told me it wasn't the same thing. So, yeah, that was that.
In the third that you guys couldn't sustain?
I thought we really got moving offensively. We got them scattered. Defensively, we were swarming. We were all over the place. And, we took away what they were trying to do. Why we didn't sustain it, I'm not sure. I'll have to go back and watch the film and kind of see where we let go of the rope at. But, I'm sure there's some things we'll, look back at it and take away from it and make sure we bring that to Friday's game.
Last question to Ohm.
Draymond, Ohm Youngmisuk, ESPN. What did you see on the pile-up with Steph, and are you worried about Steph being injured?
Yeah, you're always worried. But, I saw him getting dove on. And that was about that. So I picked up my foul, pushing him off of him because he's screaming at the bottom of the pile. So, yeah, it is what it is. I'll take the foul. I'm going to get him off his legs, though. So it's all good.
Thanks, Draymond.
Zeke, 2 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists for Draymond. But more importantly, he just said he was too soft.
Well, the NBA Finals, and when you're playing for a championship, it really is about your mental toughness and your mental focus and being able to totally 100% concentrate on your opponent, shutting him down, understanding their offensive and defensive schemes. And anytime you lose that focus or that concentration, and you're talking about Cedric Maxwell, and you're talking about podcast, and you're talking about the fans.
Don't talk about X and O's, though.
Then you have lost, you have really lost your concentration and your focus. And where does that show up? That show up in the box score in a game like tonight where you play 34 minutes, you have 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 2 points. Draymond Green does that in a grade school game, not in the NBA Finals. So when you talk about focus, this is what the NBA Finals is about. And right now, he has lost focus in terms of concentrating on beating the opponent. He's not talking about Jaylen Brown. He's not talking about Taylor. He's talking about podcasts, and he's talking about Cedric Maxwell and the fans. Concentration needs to come back on the Boston Celtics players who you're playing against out on the floor.
You really think that the comments
100%.
You really believe that?
Because let me tell you what we did in the NBA Finals and what made us so effective in terms of beating our opponents. Whenever I can distract you and make you think for 1 second about something else other than beating me, then I'm going to beat your ass when we out on the floor. Because if you're not concentrating and you're not coming with intensity for 48 minutes, 2.5 hours to play against me and our team, you are going to lose. And that's what happened here tonight with Draymond Green.
Well, you know, two things. I know someone's
Sorry,
like,
I got a little
no, you're
intense,
good.
but,
No,
you know,
but
I'm just-
I'm gonna bring the
just saying.
intensity back in.
Yeah,
and
that's the
I'm gonna
bad
take it
boy
away.
in you, man. That's the bad boy in you. That bad boy jumped out.
I was laughing because he was like, "How'd you play?" He cursed in front of his son, and his son can't be more than like 8. But it's funny because if I was his son and he asked me, "Well, how did you play?" I said, "Well, Dad, you played. Can I curse?" I would have, because I'd be like, "You played like shit." I would say the same thing. But I think overall, what makes Draymond, remember I went back in pregame, I was like, when we first started, you have to ask yourself, what makes you you? Like, in the NBA Finals at one time, the first time, not against Orlando, but against the Knicks, I wasn't playing well. And I was like, I had to ask myself, what makes me me? I'm like, I got to get the ball from free throw line to free throw line as fast as I can. That makes me me. Second part, when I give up the ball, I have to sprint to the spot to shoot instead of get to the spot. There's a difference. I can get there or I could sprint there. And then I am a prolific shooter. I'm not a good shooter, not an average shooter. I'm prolific. And so now Draymond has to say his skill set was not showed tonight. He's an agitator on defense, which means when you switch, he can make a three-point shooter into a driver. He can make a driver into a three-point shooter. He's a shot blocker. I don't know, I didn't like. He has not. I don't think he blocked a shot today. I know he blocked Brown early in the game.
Yeah,
When he stared at him.
He did not defend the rim because he is playing the 5 position most of the time. And the last thing that I think he didn't do at all was he did not handle the ball and control the pace and gave Steph Curry a break from bringing it up.
Kenny
he did not
Smith,
do that at all.
You grew up in New York, and you understand Walt Frazier, Earl Monroe, Willis Reed, Madison Square Garden. Y'all had to come into the Garden and win a game.
Ooh.
Now, imagine if you going back and forth with Earl Monroe.
Or Walt Frazier.
Or
Yeah,
Walt
right,
Frazier.
yeah,
and you
right,
talking
right,
into me.
yeah, yeah.
No, you see my point?
Yeah.
You see my
Wait,
point?
time out. I almost got it when you said it, but now I'm transparently clear.
How then do you silence this noise?
But
You have 48 hours until Game 4.
But can I jump in here? Because I thought Draymond was I didn't think Draymond gave maximum effort in Game 1. And he came out and said in Game 1 he didn't give maximum effort, and he wasn't talking to Cornbread Maxwell or anybody else. Draymond is a hustle guy, and he has to bring the energy. It's not like I looked out there and said, well, Draymond wasn't in the right places, or Draymond was coming out of the timeouts and he forgot the plays, or he was woofing at Cornbread during the game. I think everybody's
Can
different.
I ask you a question, though, Brendan?
I think
Brendan, like, have you ever came to the game to get ready, or you were already ready when you came to the game?
What do you mean?
Hey, time out.
Yeah.
This the NBA Finals.
Right, you can't get ready.
And you
his
talking
point,
about you talking about I didn't give maximum effort. I wasn't ready to play. Dude, this the NBA Finals. You ain't a rookie. You've been here.
But I'm not making an excuse for Draymond Green. I'm just saying that I don't think he played well in Game 1. I don't think he played well in Game 3. But I'm just not the person that's going to be like, you know what, the ghost of Cornbread Maxwell and Celtics past is why he didn't play well tonight.
I know you won't be like that. But 2, 3, and 4, 2 points,
rebounds, right, and assists,
3 assists, 4 rebounds. Draymond Green
can sleep and do that.
Man, come on, man.
He could have partied all night last night and came in and got it.
I'm with y'all. Draymond has to play better.
You saying it's not Cedric Maxwell, and what I'm telling you is, from experience, playing in this Boston Garden, playing in this arena, understanding how they distract their opponent, Draymond Green, the last 2 days, ended up in a conversation with Cedric Maxwell. He just came to the podium talking about podcasts and all this other stuff. He was not one time did he mention Jaylen Brown, Tatum, Smart, and as I pointed out to Kenny Smith, imagine you playing in Madison Square Garden in the NBA Finals, and you in an argument with Walt Frazier and Earl Monroe in the NBA Finals.
It's almost like saying,
for the laymen who are at home, it's kind of like saying this. What I'm getting is, like, if you don't sleep and you take a drive, you go, well, I'm driving and I'm okay. No. The fact that you didn't really sleep is a distraction to your driving. So, no, you can't get in those conversations in that environment because it seeps into you and you don't have the energy that you should have been putting on Jaylen Brown and Tatum. And it's and only 1, 2, 3 could say we understand that. Like, we understand that I'm not going to the mall on game day. Like, it's a distraction. But I'm not going to the mall on game day.
Everybody's different, but like I said,
unless you went to the mall on game day and still got 30, I wasn't.
Well, first of all, I didn't get 30, but so many times in my whole career, Kenny. Let's be easy.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what I'm saying? Let's be easy.
But people would say, Brendan, they were like, well, you just went to the mall to get a tie. I would be like, you went to the mall to get a tie on the NBA Finals.
But Kenny,
like, what?
Kenny, that's the thing. Like, I played with guys that are wired. I played with guys that went out before a playoff game.
Did they win? Though?
And and won.
They were champions.
And champions.
I don't know.
I won't bring their names up. And champions.
I don't know those dudes.
Yes, no,
There's
you
a
actually
documentary
do.
about them actually
You
available.
actually do know those guys. And so what I'm saying is this: I'm saying Draymond didn't play well. He has to play well. He is not alone. He's not the only reason they didn't play well tonight.
No, we're not blaming the game on him. We're just blaming his performance on him.
I just think that me and Zeke differ on why he didn't play well tonight.
I'm going to go a little further, right? And I'm going to say Draymond Green is the driving force behind Golden State winning and losing. And I know we talk about Steph scoring, but the engine in the machine that makes the Golden State Warriors go for years. We talk about Steph, we talk about Clay, we talk about the pretty jump shots and all this other stuff. But Draymond Green is the engine that makes it go.
I agree.
And when you show up in the NBA Finals, Game 1 and Game 3, and you ain't giving it, and
that's
then
problematic.
Game 3 on the road, and you give me 2, 3, and 4. Now, if I'm Steph at Clay, Draymond had a bad game. But you got to understand, there are 9 other players on that team, and some of them are young, and this is their first experience, right? So when they see Draymond acting like this and not performing, it has an impact. It has an effect.
No doubt.
If Dream don't show up and do what he's supposed to do, or if Otis Thorpe don't show up and do what he's supposed to do,
complexion.
well, it may not affect you, but it's going to affect some other people on the bench.
Zeke, I agree with you. Draymond didn't show up in Game 1 and Game 3. I just disagree that the podcast and Cedric Maxwell was why he didn't play well tonight. But I do agree that he didn't play well. It's the finals, and he has to play better, Zeke. Zeke, I still love you. We just don't agree on this.
The conversation will
I love you. We
continue
just don't agree.
after this break.
3 and 4 ain't going to get it.